No. Cheers.
Cheers, boys. It's like
Cheers.
the business end of the whole thing now.
Yeah.
United Rugby Championship.
Interest is growing.
Yeah.
I think. Don't eat that doggy.
Still low attendance at the games.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bulls game didn't have a half full stadium.
Yeah. Okay, hang on a second.
Yeah. Sharks, I mean, you can understand it looked like there was still a bit of rain around. The Stormers game looked to be a substantial crowd.
Yeah. They're doing very well.
Yeah. Stormers played brilliantly.
Yeah, so that was the first game of the weekend, was the Stormers.
Yeah, Stormers on Friday night against the Glasgow Warriors.
Glasgow Warriors, who they were fourth on the log, I think, before the game.
Yeah, and they had some internationals playing for them, I think.
Wasn't it a full-strength Glasgow team?
Ollie
pretty
Kebble.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a bit to say before the match as well, Ollie Kebble.
Was he chirping?
Yeah, because he was at the Stormers, so he was saying like, oh no, they're not going to stand back in the scrums and stuff, and they got pumped in the scrums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stormers are looking to be in scary form, I think.
Looking very, very good.
Yeah.
Very skillful, like
Yeah.
fast attack,
Yeah.
running onto the ball and that sort of thing.
Yeah, extremely well drilled. The guys really know and trust each other, and
I think it's their forwards.
pass
I
the
think
stick.
they're protecting the ball really well, and they just playing a great game plan.
Yeah.
And they've got guys who are in top form at the moment, like Gallant. When he comes on, he looks awesome.
And their games for the rest of the season are Leinster on next week, and they're playing a Welsh team away.
Yeah.
I think the Dragons or the Scarlets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scarlets are one of the better ones, of the Welsh ones.
Yeah.
And they're like sort of mid-table-ish.
Just imagine what they would be doing with a better fly-off.
Yeah.
I reckon Monty Libbock's not playing badly.
Well,
but
he's been touted for Springboks.
Yeah. He's on form.
I want to make it official that I do not, support that move.
I don't support it, but what I will say is he's looking better than he did when he was at the Bulls or the Sharks.
Yeah.
I was very happy when the Sharks brought him away from the Bulls because he was all over the place, but I must say he is playing better.
Yeah. Dude, you guys must never forget, we're only playing Irish, Welsh and Italian teams and Scottish teams. You're not playing New Zealand, Australian and English teams. So,
or French.
Or French teams. So I think that you must just be a little bit careful,
I think he's fine in that sort of play that's a bit more open and so forth, but I think when there's a lot of pressure on him and he has to make critical decisions in a test match kind of game, we'll see against Leinster. But it's not their full strength squad either. But I think he's doing well now, but I don't think he's a Springbok.
And nothing's it doesn't matter what. No matter what, Willemse is never gonna convince me that he belongs in a green and gold.
Gallant, I think, is kicking down the door.
They had better. I thought Willemse had a better game as well.
Yeah.
Him and Gallant were.
He had his best game, I think, against the Bulls. And then he looks to be on form, but still, I just don't believe that Oak is a Springbok.
Yeah.
Maybe an impact player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got nice size, I think, which is good.
Coming back to those, the Stormers in Glasgow. So Glasgow, obviously, they are sitting now in 5th position.
Yeah. Stormers are second,
just above the Bulls. So I think the Bulls are going to look now to beat Glasgow next weekend and then beat the Ospreys away the following weekend, and then we're hoping obviously that the Bulls then go ahead of Glasgow and Edinburgh.
Yes,
putting us obviously higher up on the
maybe for a home quarter-final.
Maybe a home quarter-final, otherwise an away.
Maximum of 15 points. Is it 2 or 3 games? 2 games left.
2 games left.
So 10 points from those 2 games would be amazing.
Yeah.
I think the Bulls really need to make a step up if they're going to achieve that.
Yeah.
I can see the Bulls losing both those games or winning both those games.
See, Glasgow have the Bulls and they have to play Edinburgh.
Yeah.
So Glasgow doesn't have an easy run to the end. So we must obviously target this game against.
I don't think Glasgow. I think they're an okay team. I don't think they're phenomenal.
Quite high up on the log, so they do well against the other Welsh and Irish teams.
Yeah, they've won a couple of big games this season, especially at home.
Yeah.
But like Edinburgh, also I don't see I can't see those guys being challengers for the trophy.
Beat the Sharks in the Sharks.
Yes, on a terrible day.
The Sharks are like all over the place.
Yeah.
They won a good game yesterday, for sure, definitely. But I'm not 100%. The only team that's convincing me at the moment is the Stormers.
Yes.
Stormers, yeah.
You
And
know, they
Leinster.
look like they've got their things together. Even the
Yeah.
Bulls, I mean, one of the comments I made to you, Alex, yesterday was we've got all this money at the Bulls,
Yeah.
and the Stormers are like a bit, like, you know, they
Yeah.
don't have the same kind of cash and backing, but they're playing better. So
Yeah.
what does it mean? What does that mean? Is it bad coaching? Is it bad procurement?
Yeah.
Is it just that we're in another rebuilding phase?
I think they're just really gelling. I think everything is working. The combinations are working. If you look at the combination with Evan Ruiz and a guy like Namakaba, the young fetcher that they have there.
That Namak Daba is playing brilliant rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got the tight five, and then they've got super creative outside backs, and the precision that they play with, and the speed that they play at, and it just looks like everything goes to hand. And Rikus Pretorius is playing well at inside centre.
Yeah.
Scored a good try just before half time with Ruan Nel. I mean,
Ruan Nel.
across the park, it just looks like
He's quite
everything's
physical,
working.
old Ruan Nel.
Leland Zas is playing extremely
I
well.
think
He's
Zas
finishing well.
is knocking on the door.
No, I think he's the next guy. As soon as there's an issue with one of our wings, I think Zas is the next guy.
I think that guy's brilliant.
Nice and big and strong, very fast,
Yeah.
good in the air.
Excellent in the air.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So well done to the Stormers, and there must be something going right there. There's
Yeah.
yes, there's a good coaching situation.
Mm.
So
Anyway, moving on to the Bulls game then.
Yeah. Yeah. My biggest concern at the Bulls game that I wanted to light out was at the rucks. That's where you win or lose your games, because if the rucks are a mess and you keep knocking the ball, Kyle Brink lying on the floor wanting to place it, someone kicks it through, and Benetton picked it up, and then there's a knock on at the ruck, and they stole so many of our balls. The Italian eighth man was very, very good.
yes, he was good. He's
He
powerful,
was
eh?
all over the show, and he stole a few balls, and he's played with a lot of energy.
It's a lot of
Definitely one of
Italian
their
nationals in that team.
Better players
Yeah.
for sure. I can't remember his name, but he's excellent. He's a real talent for them.
Yeah.
Um,
Devil Divanacher marshals the team well. I think his kicking was very clever in that he just chipped it over the ruck most of the time, and he let the ball roll, and he made it a bit uncomfortable for guys running onto the ball, because you have to time the bounce and stuff. And they obviously did their homework, and also they play a very fast game. I actually can't believe that they aren't higher up the log if you look at the Edinburgh and the Glasgows and
Yeah.
stuff.
yes, but they've lost like 5 or 6
Many
games
in
in
a
a
row.
row or something.
Yeah.
But that's because they were playing. All the guys were in the Six Nations.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason. They just don't have depth.
That's true. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah.
Because I think they said they have 12 internationals. in
Yes.
that.
Yeah,
And the rest are basically South African.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But,
But
the Bulls just sort of took over, and the physicality and the speed that they play, and I think they got a bit tired at altitude in the second half.
Can I suggest one thing as well? Is maybe all this rain that we've had in Pretoria,
Yeah.
it seemed like that it was very heavy underfoot.
Yes.
And maybe that did, suit Benetton a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, the European teams seem to thrive a little bit.
it was quite muddy, the pitch in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the Bulls. I've got an issue with our forwards.
Yeah.
I think our forwards are coming together quite nicely.
Yeah.
You know, like as you said, it must be a coaching tactic to have them stand off a bit. But that's going to hurt you against these European teams. They're so
Yeah.
good on the ground in the ruck. But Duran Nokia was the deserved man of the match.
Yeah.
Definitely. I
2
mean,
weeks in a row.
man, that guy is putting his body on the line, and
Yeah.
like you think he's a bit smaller than that, but he's hardworking and he's skillful and
Gets the ball a
Yeah.
lot in
Yes.
space, and then he makes a good pass for the try. He had a few try
Must
assists.
be a little bit of Ergis Snyman.
Yeah.
yeah. I bet you the other South African teams wish they had a lock like this, especially the Sharks.
Franco
And he's
Moster.
young.
Yeah.
Don Norkia.
Yeah, I think we've got 2 excellent locks, and I'm also glad that the Bulls have settled with our fullback Orense.
Yeah.
I feel like
If he gets a lot of ball, stuff happens.
and he always takes the high ball.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
You know, he's committed. He gets in there. He's got speed. You know, I like him a lot. I think he's
Yeah.
made a real difference to the Bulls.
Back three is
Doesn't
coming
rush on.
together nicely with Kane and Moody and Madosh Tambo.
I've not seen Kane and Moody on the run yet.
Hasn't broken through.
Yeah.
He hasn't done something spectacular
He's got
for
a
me
nice
yet,
try
but he's
last
solid.
week. Yeah.
You look, he's excellent on defence. You know, so let's see.
Yeah.
I think Madosh is falling off a bit.
Yes.
I think he's peaked and he's a bit all over the place. I mean, he dropped a random ball yesterday in the middle of nowhere.
It seems like he's trying too hard. Now that he's in the limelight, he's not dealing with it that well. It's like he's almost trying too hard. And wants to create stuff from nothing instead of looking at the guys around him and giving them good ball.
The Bulls have got a bit of an issue at fly-off, I think, because Chris Smith, he created a couple of tries. If his kicking can get better for posts, he's solid. But then you can't rely on Mornay. I mean, Mornay is, at some point he's going to retire. You've got to have a better. And like Goosen's long gone, I think now. But so you've got to look at
coming back. Goosen, I mean, I thought
he was part of this alignment camp so he must be on his way back, because he was with the Springbok alignment camp.
I think that's a massive mistake by the Springboks. So anyway,
look,
we probably don't have a lot of options.
That's a different conversation. I think that's it as well. Yeah.
And the Lions game.
The Lions game,
always entertaining.
Yeah,
they know how to entertain. The Lions, I love it.
Yeah.
Quite a few new names again, guys, that I don't know much about. There's another BJ Botha. I thought BJ Botha. It's not possible that
PJ.
Was it PJ?
He's the hooker.
I thought it's not possible that guy can still be playing rugby.
Surely.
He was part of the 2007 Springboks, and he already had no hair.
Like Yanni.
And this guy doesn't have hair either, so it's quite funny.
He's a hooker.
He's a hooker. Yeah. No, he was quite lively.
Wittendal scored a phenomenal try for the Lions.
I think they can kick themselves. I think that's a game that they thought they were going to win.
Missed a lot of kicks as well, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, let's say what...
They should have put Fred Zeilinger in.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Zeilinger's the Tiger Woods of rugby.
No.
A bit like Earl Rose.
a little bit like Earl Rose, yeah. I see.
No, it was a close one, 33-30.
How did Edward van der Merwe play? I like him.
That guy, that guy's another guy. I mean, after... What's his name? Zas. Those guys are in line.
Yes, no, definitely.
From a South African perspective, you're going to be happy with at the moment, you've got so many options in your forwards and on your wings. And even a fullback is starting to look a bit bright. But, when it comes to fly off and scrum off, I think we
An
need
interesting
something.
stat for Connacht is they haven't lost to South African opposition.
Lucky sound.
Can I just make one remark on the Sharks game? Sorry, I know we're going back there, but I felt like the Sharks were completely and utterly dominant in the scrums, and they weren't getting the reward. I couldn't believe some of the calls. I couldn't believe that the referee wasn't seeing that Leinster were getting absolutely creamed in the scrums. Yes. I mean, one commentator said that the guy turned his shoulder in. I'm like, no, dude, no.
Like pushing you're not allowed to push your player into contact.
No, that seems to be
a
new
thing. Did you
thing.
see that thing I sent a video of Wayne Barnes making a call like that against Leicester?
I feel like something they're just making up.
Where it is apparently a thing.
Oh.
So you're not allowed, you're endangering that player by pushing him into contact.
What happens if he asked you to do it?
What is
a maul? Give me a push.
How else what is a maul?
No, but physically not actually latching on, like holding on to the guy.
And just
by pushing him because the guy's sort of losing his balance and that sort of thing. That's what they're saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying that I agree with it or whatever. I'm just giving the interpretation.
I just feel that ref felt sorry for Leinster or something because man, the Sharks were all over them.
No, there was a scrum that went like the Sharks went like 1.5 meters. They pushed them 1.5 meters off the ball and he gave the penalty to Leinster. And everyone, the commentators, everyone that was bemused. You couldn't understand what the hell had happened.
I thought Jaden was offside though.
That's what he said.
He was definitely offside.
No. What was he doing? He didn't do anything.
He just couldn't go backwards fast enough to get out of the way because they were pushing him back so fast.
Another 99 games, that would have been a penalty
was
to the Sharks.
The ball hadn't been out yet.
Yeah. I don't know.
The South African teams are actually quite dominant in the scrums. I must say, for the most part, they are really dominating quite well, which is good
carrying on
for
about
us.
Carlos Sardi in the Lions game with his
his legs
legs are like that.
Yeah, that guy doesn't have 20 minutes in him. I think if the game gets a bit fast, he's a scrummager. But I think that if you look at the Sharks guys, the Sharks have problems when it comes to their replacement props, though.
Yes,
that's when they really. That's when it goes downhill for them in the scrums.
Kunu brothers, Kuns.
Yes, those guys are terrible at scrumming.
Yeah, when Nche and Mbanami go off, it's like
and the toy
night and day.
Yeah.
They look amazing in the line breaks. Kevin Bosch and Cook.
Yes,
Bosch is finding lots of space.
Like 108 meters.
Yeah.
Lots of space. One of his better games, actually.
And then this the awareness, the slowing down, looking, and making the last pass stick like the Bulls did and like the Stormers did just didn't happen. So they put themselves under a lot of scoreboard pressure because they were supposed to just like break away and score a whole bunch of tries, and two of those line breaks early on didn't lead to tries. Werner Kok was through, and he couldn't find support. He should have just slowed down. He was going so fast and stepping and stuff. Just look up, slow down, wait for someone to come and give the last pass.
And this second-rate Leinster team?
I don't really understand but they obviously want to go back, and then it's absolutely crucial for them to win their last
No, but
game.
they're so far ahead.
They've got the
like
whole thing in the
10
bag.
Didn't they send a full-strength team? Were the guys too tired? To
I think
turn,
it's
or-
purely to save the Oaks because
the
there
playoffs.
was no need for they took a gamble on this one. There was always going to be a good chance they'd win it, but they were willing to lose this game.
Well,
They
look
might
at the
lose.
points.
They might lose their number one spot, and then they don't.
I
play
don't
a
think
home
so.
final.
They're one
They've
game
got a game
behind
in hand.
everyone. They've got a game in hand
Yeah.
on everyone.
Article I saw said that losing this game means that they haven't secured their number one spot.
They need to score.
So they
They
can
need to
still
win
end
one
second.
more game out of the next two. They need one
But
more.
maybe their thought process is like, good luck when we had full strength beating us at home,
Yeah.
because that's not going to. So we can almost like
What
tick
if
those ones off.
what if they don't have a home final because of this?
Look at the points. So they're on 61, and the Stormers are on 52.
Yeah,
So
so mathematically it's possible, but it's highly unlikely.
it's very unlikely.
Yeah.
And they have two more games. So
Yeah.
You know what? We need at least one South African team to get a home semi. Eh?
No.
They
No,
might
yeah,
even have
definitely.
3 more games. I'm not 100%
Yeah.
sure.
There's 3 more games, I think.
For them, yeah.
The Sharks pulled through. Yes. I don't want to carry on about the ref, the Georgian ref. His name is Nika. I can't pronounce his surname. Even one of the last scrums of the match, the Sharks were pushing them off the ball, and he gave a penalty to Leinster, where I thought half the Leinster scrum was actually around the back of the Sharks scrum by the scrum half.
One of their
And,
props,
he gave some technical thing.
one of their
yeah.
props, either the Lucio Tati was going on the angle every single scrum because he couldn't handle the scrum.
Yeah.
Sharks did well to hold them out at the end there.
Yes, I was so happy.
Dude,
about
I thought that they would definitely. I thought Leinster were definitely going to win
Yeah.
that game. I
Leinster
thought it's
are
only a matter of
scary.
time and they score a try.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they are scary. It reminds me of,
Yeah.
of like the Crusaders.
Yeah. No, they are.
I don't
Even the second string guys are so well coached,
Yeah.
so well drilled.
Good coaching, but from pure talent perspective, I don't think they're like if we're comparing them to the Crusaders, because with the Crusaders you knew
Yeah.
they Crusaders are not going to not score there.
Yeah.
Back in their day,
Mhm.
they're just too brilliant. And they used to win games by huge margins, eh?
Yeah.
But when Leicester are at full flight at home, they are extremely impressive.
Yeah.
The beginning of the season, I thought these guys
And
were
the Bulls
completely
played
unstoppable.
Leinster.
Yeah. They make very
It's
few
heavy.
mistakes.
Yeah,
They make hardly any mistakes.
Yeah.
when they play at pace
Yeah.
and they're shifting the ball around in the back line, that looks.
Yeah. It looks
And
amazing.
they
Imagine
go
that
way
team now.
upfield.
Imagine that team now with James Lowe and
Yeah.
Jonathan Sexton.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
No.
that's their
That's the
team.
guys that are coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they left, I think, 7 of those of their top players.
Well, that's why we love this stuff, because we will have to wait and see if it's possible for, let's say, for the Stormers to compete against those Oaks.
There was a
With
period
their
in
full
time in the
strength.
beginning of the season where the South African teams didn't have access to their best players.
Yes.
So that's going to
And we
go with,
lost. Yeah.
with this weird timetable, because we're going to play all our internationals at a certain time. They're going to play all theirs at a certain time. So there's going to be periods in the season where you're going to be playing B teams no matter what.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I still feel about this whole URC thing, but it is
Yeah.
entertaining.
It's now it's
Getting
cool.
into it.
I'm kind of
Getting very
into it now.
getting. I'm starting to watch the other teams as well.
Yeah.
I watched Munster, Ulster. I know you guys had other things going on, but
What could we possibly have?
what could be more important? But I don't know. But that was quite a cool Irish derby game for me, and but Munster just outclassed them. Munster was just the better team. Damien and Darlenda had a very good game again. Most of the South Africans for Ulster and Munster played quite well. Dwayne van Meulen was out with an injury, but it was a very good game.
It'd be nice if they could relegate the Italian teams and bring in and English teams.
Or bring in like the cheaters.
Yeah.
Because you know what I was thinking about the cheaters is, so we've got 4 reasonably strong teams playing at home. You know, the Lions, the Bulls, Sharks, and the Stormers. Now imagine you're the cheaters, and the Kings are taking 50 at home every weekend.
No.
So what I'm saying is, it doesn't help your log position if people are going to Geberga and
Yeah.
getting and smashing the Kings.
Yeah.
I mean, how must you get any log dominance?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like at the moment, we've got 3 very, very competitive teams, and the Lions
Yeah.
winning a lot of their home games,
Yes.
which helps our log ascension.
Yeah.
So it would have been interesting to see what the Cheetahs would have done.
Yes.
Time for the Cats to
With-
come back. Let's bring the Cats
Yeah,
back.
mix the Cheetahs and the Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golden Cats.
I just want to mention one more game is Edinburgh Zebra. I was getting a bit bored with Munster Ulster, so I switched to the Edinburgh Zebra game. And when I switched over, it was about 58 minutes, and Edinburgh was on a red card, and the score was like almost even. It was like 26 all or something. But Zebra unfortunately managed to lose that game by 29-26. That would have been their first, even a draw would have been good for them. And very good for the rest, because then the Bulls would have been above Edinburgh if Edinburgh lost that
Zebra,
game.
when last did they win a game?
Like, it must be about 23 games ago now.
That is in fact a trick question. They have never won a game. Joking.
Shame, man. Yeah, I was rooting for them. I was watching the game, and it was very close. They very nearly won, but unfortunately they didn't. And unfortunately,
We are going to struggle overseas, guys.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry. I see this season being one of those South African teams that are just not going to quite get there.
Mm.
Irish teams are going to take this thing, and then I think the year after, I think it will be fine. We've got to figure out how to win in Ireland.
In Wales
There were a
and
few.
in Scotland. Like, remember
Yeah.
the beginning of the season?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, struggling to beat the Cardiff Blues and
Yeah.
But
That
in
sort of
all
thing.
fairness,
Dragons.
in all fairness,
Dragons.
South African teams had not had to put themselves against international competition for 2 years.